Hey, good afternoon. This is Greg Lewis, City Manager of the City of Lebanon, New Hampshire. Welcome to Lebanon in Depth. We're really happy to have you here today with us. I hope a lot of the residents of the community are watching today. We've got a couple of very interesting topics today. Our first one is going to be we're going to explore a little bit our Conservation Commission and what it does and its duties and responsibilities, and what are some of the current projects, and just simply the basics of the operation of the commission, and they do a lot of good for us in our community. I need to know a little more, and I'd like to have my guests introduce themselves and tell a little bit about their background, as I always kind of forewarn them. Sure. What their background might be.
Good day. My name is Hal Bourne, and I am the current chair of the Conservation Commission. And I've been on the Conservation Commission now for, I think, 8 years, something about that. I've been the acting chair for about, 6 months. And I first got involved with the Conservation Commission because I am interested in outdoor recreation. When I was in college, I did a resource assistant program with the Student Conservation Association where we did trail work up in the Whites. And really enjoyed that. So that was a 10 to 12-week program, and it helped inculcate a passion for taking care of the land and being a steward of the land. And then a couple other summers, I work, my full-time job is as a school teacher, and during a few summers in the late 90s, I did programs that worked with the AMC, also doing trail work up in the Whites. And then when I moved to Lebanon 12 years ago, I just became interested in how the city managed its properties, and saw that there were openings. And as an avid outdoor recreationalist, I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to help form policies in the city and help keep the city's properties in good shape. So I joined the committee. And do you want me to talk about the Conservation Commission?
About what the Conservation. Yeah, I don't know if everyone understands what the Conservation Commission does, and I think that's a valuable thing, because we all should know what it does.
Sure. The Conservation Commission, and Mark will correct me, but under the RSA, we're not a regulatory body. We just provide comment and opinions on various proposals and applications that are in process. That's our primary thing, particularly wetlands impacts permitting. So we just provide comment to the Department of Environmental Services and try and provide suggestions as necessary, but we just provide comment. And similarly, we do provide comment on other city issues, master plan, zoning plans, and things like that, and other policies that are being created at the higher up level. And then I think most of the people that are on the commission are there because they're more interested in the lands themselves and whether they hike on them, fish on them, bicycle, walk, run, etc. So the Conservation Commission, another major purview for us is to manage the city's conservation properties, which I think at this point number 16 conservation properties, and some of them are quite sizable. Farnham Hill's our largest, the Farnham Hill Preserve, at 900 approximately acres.
780 now.
Okay, 780.
Formerly believed to be 900, but with our high-speed GPS equipment, we've adjusted it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's still substantial. That's
sure.
Quite
it's
a large area.
Lovely parcel, and then obviously Boston Lot Lake's another gem, and that's now around 600 acres with, something like that. And so our duty is to oversee the use and care of those lands, including trail maintenance and uses and things like that, and including acquisition of new properties as well. In the past decade, Signal Hill was added. Let's see, the one out on Route 4, what do we call that one?
The Jackson property?
Jackson property.
Tickner property was added? Oh, the LeBron Meadows.
LeBron Meadows, thank you. That's what I was thinking. The Jackson property's up off of Slayton Hill Road.
What is it called? Close to Slayton Hill, off of, Tickner's off of Slayton.
Okay.
Jackson is off of Prospect.
Okay, I got those flip-flop. All right, fair enough. But that's the important thing, is to oversee additions to our city conservation lands. And the money for those lands come from the LOS Fund, which is the Lebanon Open Space Trust, which is money that is generated from the sale of properties that were in current use, and it's the tax penalty, I guess is how you would word that. And that money goes into this trust fund, and that money is used to purchase new lands. Of course, the city council does oversee, they have to vote on actual purchase of real estate. So,
Well, that's quite a wide-ranging set of duties and responsibilities over quite a few things. Well, how do you work? I mean, do you meet monthly then?
yes, we meet monthly, and it seems like there's always a need for additional people, certainly on, if not for full members, then, what do you call a member? Yeah.
The alternate.
Alternate, thank you. The alternate members, thank you. The commitment is roughly one night a month for a 2 to 2.5 hour meeting. Is kind of the standard, 7 to 9:30 on the second Thursday of the month. There are other things as well that come along, and we always need help in a variety of contexts. Mark has been good about soliciting and organizing just volunteer workers from around the community. If people express an interest in helping out, lending a hand, we generally steer them towards Mark, who kind of keeps things all together. We also do site walks and things like that occasionally, depending on the nature of a permit, and so there are field trips. We have Don Lacey, who does a lot of invasive species work in the Upper Valley, including with the Hanover Conservation Commission. And so they've been doing walks around the community. And Ersta Ointman, the good doctor, does river cleanups, right, with is it the Rotary?
I believe it's partnered with the Rotary Club.
Right, so there are community events as well.
Yes.
So it is very far-ranging, from the fairly bureaucratic review of permitting to field outings and things like that. Yep.
And I think everyone out there, because one of our great efforts are to engage with everyone in our community and try, everyone is, there may be a niche for you in terms of playing a role as a citizen. And what the fun part about it is you try to pick that place that kind of fits you. And how, as you were talking about your interest in the outdoors and your past experience and your ongoing experience, you kind of express yourself so that it's very clear that this is not a chore for you. Right. This is something that kind of fits in your interests and in your values. It fits you. And so others out there should think about these sort of things, is that how this might, as we're talking about it, we're going to always make pitches, thinking about it, but it should be something that if you looked and heard this and felt that was something that you could have some both fun and some contribution, we surely would welcome you. And you can always talk, you can always contact me, and I will make sure that you get in the right place. You can also always contact Mark and Goodwin in our planning and zoning department. You can call our planning and zoning department. So there's a couple of quick starts right there. And we'll clue you in. Also Sandy Allard, our city clerk, she helps process all applications for all boards and commissions. So Sandy Allard, which there you are, city clerk, you go in there, go in there for your car license or something, or dog tags, and say you're interested in the Conservation Commission. And everyone will hook you up real quick with the process. It's very easy. You'll be, becoming a member, you get interviewed by a couple of our city commissioners, our counselors, and they talk to you, visit you, very informal and very warm and friendly. And then, once you get into it, I think you ought to do it. We encourage people to go to meetings before they apply, so that they can kind of see the Conservation Commission at work. And you'll see that, or perhaps on one of their activities that Hal's described, where you might, that's public and people know, and get a taste, and then see if it would meet your needs. And it's a great way. Now, on our current agenda, Mark, you provide the support and in terms of our professional that we have assigned as one of our planners and our GSI coordinator for the Conservation Commission. What's your role?
I work within the planning department, and one of my responsibilities is being the staff liaison to the Conservation Commission. And so I help basically facilitate the meetings, orchestrate the meetings, and cover the agenda material. And that, as Hal alluded to, that's about a once-a-month event, and there's some work leading up to that event. But then behind the scenes is a lot of the on-the-ground stewardship responsibilities of it's 2,000 plus acres and 21 plus miles of trails. So behind the scenes, there's a lot of sort of the boots on the ground work that's happening, and that could be, we have a part-time ranger that's been working for us for a number of years, so he's on the ground clearing the trails, and then we have volunteers that contact us from time to time that are interested in sort of a lesser role than actually serving on the commission. They just want to help clear trails and get their hands dirty. And then, of course, we have stepping up from that, folks that would want a voice in the process, and they join the Conservation Commission.
That's great. In thinking about our current action plan and agenda and outcomes we're working on, could we illustrate a few things that we're working on in the Conservation Commission area and in the area that they oversee? What would be some examples of types of activities that are current pending?
I think sort of maybe the big picture one is that we hear time and time again as part of our planning process that a lot of people came to the Upper Valley, they came to Lebanon because of what it offered, that there's a vibrant economy, but yet there's a beautiful landscape that supports that, and it's very important for folks to maintain that. And so the commission, in helping achieve that, has they've really orchestrated what we call the investment in our green infrastructure. They've orchestrated spending over $1.7 million in 20 years on these properties, with the ultimate goal. Right now we describe it as everyone should be able to walk to a public open space within 10 minutes from where they live. And I think for the most part, when we look at our portfolio of lands, we've achieved that. So that's, I think that's the biggest sort of scene, the big picture. That's what we're after, trying to preserve that balance. And Lebanon right now is about 30% developed, 70% undeveloped. And so maintaining that balance, and the commission is really at the forefront of steering that. And so there's a number of sort of smaller specific endeavors that we're engaged in, but that's the big mission.
Mm-hmm. From your perspective, Hal, what do you think are some of the top priorities of the commission's work?
That's a good question. I think as the chair of the commission, I think our most important thing is gaining new members in the committee. A lot of the people that are on the committee now have been there for a long time, and so that we can continue to grow and keep our focus over the long haul. So it'd be nice to have some new blood as well. But that's more of an organizational thing. So yes. Another plug for the volunteers. There's so many competing demands on the commission, as I said, from trail maintenance to invasive species to other projects, that it's hard a lot of times to pick one that's the primary focus. Again, I'll go back to mainly just overseeing the properties. I would say is the biggest passion for myself and for the commission currently. So trying to maintain that long-term view of the importance of the city's open lands. And we do try to prioritize to how we rate the properties, and including our new acquisitions. Are they being acquired and maintained for water storage, for example, watershed protection, for large mammal protection, things like that? Or are they simply to provide just a recreational opportunity close to housing and things like that? I would say I don't know if I'd want to assert a particular priority for the whole commission. I don't know, Mark, you might have a sense of that. But I guess I would say that Yet it seems to me that when we talk about things now, it is protection of the properties as a whole, probably for some watershed retention and protection. Post Irene, everybody's sensitive in the area, and also after the July 2nd storm, to the importance of making sure that we have places that can hold or at least slow down water flow and not damage development and other infrastructure.
Well, it's real fascinating because, I mean, as you mentioned, there's these jewels in the crown in terms of these important, very important special spaces that are in the community. But I guess, from both your perspectives, and just welcome to join us, what's the importance of having open space? I mean, it seems that, it would be obvious, but I think, really, what are the importance of open space?
Well, I think one interesting thing is a lot of times people look at a conservation commission as just being a bunch of environmentalists who are looking, and preservationists who are just trying to keep everything undeveloped, which is not accurate. We are looking to provide, as Mark said, appropriate balance between developed and undeveloped areas, and maintaining, as I said, the importance of water protection, particularly since the Mascoma River is the water source for the city of Lebanon, but also helping protect the value of the assets of the surrounding area. There's been a lot of studies that have shown that undeveloped land actually is better for taxpayers than developed properties, just because less draw on infrastructure and things like that. But we also want to balance and sort of help direct where it's appropriate to have intensive development. Where is it common sense to put a housing development? Where is it common sense to put more office space and things like that? So, Mark?
Yeah, I think just what I would add to that is the question of what is the benefit of the open space? There's, from the natural world perspective, it's a place for the critters to live and to thrive, and then there are places that provide that assure that we have adequate supply of clean air and clean water. They're basically our filters. So from the natural world, there's a long list of the benefits they provide, and then from sort of the human perspective, there's probably infinite amount of studies too that show it's just good for the human psyche, places to relax, places to get away from it all, and that's where we could probably just boil it down. There's very few people that I meet that don't enjoy a walk through a beautiful open space. So.
Well, that's wonderful. In our last minute or so, you look at this situation and we talk about a sustainable community, which oftentimes means that we give more than we take. So by giving, as you talk about it here, you're saying, that what we're looking at is we're preserving the natural environment. We're preserving our heritage, the trees, the water, as you've described, is very important. The wildlife, the opportunity for freedom of movement. And I think that if you used all the space up, and if you in any particular boundaried area, what's that look like? We all know from those of us, and many of us have just traveled a lot and been in some very intensely populated places, and how that the fact that we have our environment here in Lebanon is just such a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I really want to thank the on behalf of the city, the Conservation Commission, our volunteer citizens performing the role of citizens, and performing this very important role for us in providing the leadership and playing the role of oversight and recommenders and people that are good stewards for our public places. And I thank Mark for his work and support and coordinating the activities. And how I give my best to the rest of the members of the commission. I know a lot of them, and so it's very nice. And again, I'll just repeat that this is an opportunity that if you have some of the interests that Hal has, let's look into it, becoming a member of our Conservation Commission. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go out and have a nice walk out there on one of those conservation lands. Thank you.